I'm an inventor, and I've found, I've invented a lot of things, and yet there are people I've never talked to that invented the same thing the same day I did, and they submitted patents for it, and I ended up in like discussions with them and whatnot, and they never met me. They weren't even aware of my work, and I wasn't aware of their work. It's because our brains are not hard drive storage units. Our brains are radio receivers, and our heart is the tuning dial. And we can tune into different frequencies of future states and timelines. And when we do, then you're just picking up the radio signal that's the universe's radio signal. Everything that has ever happened and will happen has already happened somewhere. Time is a Mobius strip. What we consider our distant past is likewise our distant future.
Well, I was going to ask you about that as well, because the distant past being the distant future as well. And then when you start, maybe I'm too Indian, but we don't consider myth as myth. We consider myth as our history. So is myth also our future, and that's also why we're living into our story, and that's how our story defines us? Is this also the arc of belief that's sort of governing us through there?
Absolutely.
So we do live out the stories. Huh. Interesting. Thank you for that.
So look at this. So you've got these two elephants. I mean, it's basically the same place. It's just no one saw this as an elephant. But you can see the eye right here. It's a freaking elephant. And they have places that people sit inside of it. And then underneath there's like its vocal cords, and you can stand inside of it, and it's all based on resonance. You can make sounds in there, and it resonates at different, it's like its vocal cords of the elephant. And there's another elephant above it. And here's the eye of the other elephant. It's like a herd showing up here. We found more than 100 elephants. I mean, how is that even possible?
Jeez, they're everywhere.
And these are all 12,000 years old. Because, yes, I was like, did elephants ever inhabit South America? That's ChatGPT. Yes, elephants, or rather prehistoric relatives, did once inhabit South America during the Pleistocene. They were killed off during the Younger Dryas, 11,700 years ago. So how could ancient people, have carved these things that without, I mean, they're going to use word of mouth on, carving something so perfectly? I don't think so. Word of mouth over 10,000 plus years. Good luck with that.
And so you're saying the fabric of the nature of reality is communicating this to us now, and it's probably always been there, but our consciousness is shifting to be able to dial in and tune into it to see
precisely
greater levels of pattern recognition, because our consciousness is evolving.
Yes. And just as you said earlier, right, we are dimensionally limited avatars, and we are awakening to these patterns that we thought were entropic. So let's say we have history that was once fifth and sixth dimensional. And right now, Earth has been in the fourth dimension. So in the Indian way of looking at it, right, in Sanskrit, you have something called the Treta Yuga, right? You have the Satya Yuga, you have the Kali Yuga. Satya means truth. It's sort of the same root derivative as like Sadguru, right? Sadguru is truth. So truth guru. And basically, we now live in a time that's moving back into the fifth dimension, which is the Treta Yuga. So it's like the Silver Age. We're going back into the Silver, and eventually we'll be back in summer. As we get closer and closer to our sister star, Sirius A, we get closer and closer to higher consciousness. We're 8.6 light years away from Sirius A right now. We're in a binary star system, or maybe trinary star system. We don't know. So the point being that as we raise our consciousness, all the things that were left in history that were in higher dimension are now coming back. Because we can perceive it. If it was created in higher dimension, we can now perceive it because we've now moved into that frequency that's the same as that dimension.
Are they always there and our receptivity is evolving back to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because like birds. Birds can only see certain colors. We can only see certain colors if our retina is vibrating at the same frequency as the cells in our retina have to be vibrating at the same frequency as the thing we want to observe.
Mm.
Birds have an expanded range of colors that they see. There's a whole bunch of, ultraviolet light and infrared colors that we don't necessarily perceive with our visible eye. We only have one octave of light that we can perceive with our visible eye, with our naked eye. And so basically, a bird has to entrain its resonance to what it's looking at to be able to see in higher dimensions. Same thing for us. You have to be vibrating at the resonance of a fifth dimensional object in order for you to perceive that object.
That's kind of inspiring because also I can really at this juncture of the conversation tell you and Nassim are hella friends. It's just the way he describes the flower of life and using that to decode the physics behind all of this.
I've known Nassim for,
Yeah.
I guess he's like a brother to me. I've known him for over 10 years now.
It's interesting because the inspiring part here is you don't have to evolve your whole self into a whole new place. In fact, trickle by trickle, drop by drop, each part plays its part. So when you activate a certain bit and you see a little bit more, well, that part of you that sees a little bit more will attract more parts of you to see more. The more you evolve, even just slightly, that evolved part of you will attract more evolution in the rest of your system. Mm-hmm. Is that a fair hypothesis?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So it's like perceiving extraterrestrials. I had my first visitation from them, and I realized, my first one I was 11 years old, but I had a major one in 2017 in Egypt, and Nassim was there. He wasn't with me when I got the visitation, but we were all in Egypt together at the time. And it was kind of amazing because they were like, look, we've been here all along, man. They're six-dimensional beings. So they're what they call themselves future humans. Arcturians are just future humans. And they've been here all along. The function of why we have not had global contact until now is because the Earth has not been vibrating at the frequency of perception of that. Some individuals have. But they've literally been here all along. They're living among us all the time. So we're now just moving into another stage. So think of it like this. You're a grasshopper. You live in a field. You believe your field is your universe. Then you die and come back as a monkey, and you're like somewhere close to Rio de Janeiro. And you've heard that there are people in that city, but you don't even know what a city looks like. And you're just relying on what other monkeys told you. Then you die and come back with expanded flora and fauna in a totally new place. You're in rural United States of America. You've never traveled, so you don't know that the Earth is not flat. You don't know necessarily that the sky is super blue in Alaska because there's no pollution there. Until you go there, you don't know. And you don't know that people speak other languages. You may have heard that they speak other languages, but you don't know it because you haven't experienced it directly. Then you die and come back as a person who's a worldwide adventurer who has basically been to every country in the world and knows, what it's like to speak different languages that are like the Innu tribe or Swahili or whatever it is around the globe. Then what's the next level of expansion? Galactic community. In each of these different dimensional frames of these dimensionally limited avatars, each one believed that its entire expansive universe was right in front of it. And that's all there was. But each time they come back and they have an expanded experience with more diversification of flora, more diversification of fauna. Why is it limited to this Earth? I don't believe that it is. And that's the leap that we're making now.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely love this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.